Hi students, welcome to session 2 of Changes Around Us. In today's session, we are going to continue about the types of changes that occur around us or happen around us. So what is meant by irreversible change? Students, some changes are permanent and they cannot be reversed. So these are called irreversible changes. And so we can say that irreversible changes are permanent changes. How? Like for an example, if we burn a paper, it turns into ash. But this ash cannot be turned back into paper. So we can say that this is a type of an irreversible change. So a change is said to be irreversible if the substance cannot be brought back to its original form, like rusting of iron, and growth of a plant. There are many such examples of irreversible changes. So we can say that if the substance cannot be brought back to its original form, then it is said to be an irreversible change, like rusting of iron and growth of plant. The iron, when once gets rusted, it cannot be brought back to its original form. The growth of a plant once took place, or once it has taken place, it cannot be brought back into seed or its original size. So now let us discuss about more in detail. Yes, the examples of irreversible changes, there are many such examples. So first example is the heating. As we know that heating is a process. So heating can cause an irreversible change. For example, we heat a raw egg to cook it. So we cannot get back this cooked or scrambled egg, or if we have heated a raw egg, or if we are cooking it, so it will form into some other thing, like it can form an omelette. So we cannot get back the raw egg from an omelette. Is it possible? No. So this is a type of an irreversible change, right? The cooked egg cannot be changed back to a raw egg again. So this is one such example. Let us move on to other example. Yes, mixing. Mixing substances can cause an irreversible change. For example, when vinegar plus sodium bicarbonate. Vinegar and sodium bicarbonate are mixed, the mixture changes and carbon dioxide is evolved. So how can we say this? That this is an irreversible change? Because when vinegar and bicarbonate, like sodium bicarbonate, are mixed, the mixture changes and lots of bubbles of carbon dioxide are made, and these bubbles and the liquid mixture which is left behind cannot be turned back into vinegar and sodium bicarbonate. And so we can say that mixing of substances can also cause an irreversible change. Yes. Other example is that of burning. Like we discussed, if we burn a paper, it turns into ash, and this ash cannot be turned back into paper. So burning is therefore an irreversible change. Even when we burn wood, what do we get? We get ash and smoke. So we cannot change the ash and smoke back to the wood again. Is it possible? No, it is not possible to get back the wood from ash and smoke. So we can say that burning is an irreversible change. So what can we say about an irreversible change? Yes, a change is called irreversible if it cannot be changed back again. Like we cannot change a cake back into its ingredients again. So irreversible changes are permanent. They cannot be undone. In an irreversible change, always remember students, new materials are formed. So sometimes these new materials are very useful to us. So now let us revise again about irreversible change and let us discuss about more such examples. Yes. For example, a growth of a baby into an adult is an irreversible change because the man or woman cannot turn back into a baby. Even the pencils and erasers get reduced in size with the regular use. So this is also an irreversible change. So there are a large number of irreversible changes that take place around us, and these result in a new material being produced which may or may not be useful. Like an unripe mango is green and sour in color. Green in color and sour in taste, but on ripening it usually becomes yellow and sweet. So what can we say? Yes, ripening of fruits is an irreversible change. Right? So this is one such example. So ripening of fruits is an irreversible change because it is not possible to get unripe fruits from ripened or mature fruits. The second example is that of buds. Buds change into flowers. Can blooming flowers change back into buds? Is it possible? No. Blooming of flowers is an irreversible change. So we can say that blooming of flowers is also an irreversible change. Yes. Third example is that of a milk. You might have noticed, students, that milk gets spoiled when not refrigerated, particularly in summers. So what do we call this process? Yes, we call it as curdling. Sorry, it is not Q, it is G. So this is curdling or souring of milk. When it gets sour? Yes. When milk gets spoiled and if it is not refrigerated, this process, this causes curdling or souring of milk. So this process is also an irreversible process. Now, you might have observed that curdling of milk is also done by adding lemon juice to milk for making cottage cheese or paneer. So remember that curdling of milk is also possible by adding lemon juice to milk. And what will you get? Yes, you will get cottage cheese or paneer, your favorite food item. Right? So curdling or souring of milk is also an irreversible process. It is a type of irreversible change. There are other examples too. Like, have you seen paper burning? What is left after the paper has burnt? Some ash. So it is a new substance that differs from the paper in its appearance and properties. And can you get back paper from the ash? No, because burning is also an irreversible change, as we discussed. Even cooking of food is an irreversible change. Sorry, this is cooking of food. So cooking of food generally takes place on heating uncooked food. For example, making chapatis from flour, cooking rice, baking a cake, making an egg omelette or a fish fry. So these are the different forms of cooking food. So can you get back the ingredients in their original form after cooking? No, because cooking of food is an irreversible change. Right? So these are all the examples of irreversible change. Now let us get back to our slides. Yes, we discussed a lot about reversible and irreversible changes. Now let us move on to other interesting topic. Yes, now we will discuss about physical and chemical changes. So what are physical and chemical changes, students? First we will discuss about physical changes. Right, so those changes in which no new substance is formed are called physical changes. And during physical changes, the properties of the substance remains the same. So remember always that during physical changes, the properties of a substance remain the same because no new substance is formed. So many a times they are temporary and they can be reversed. Like melting of ice is one such example of a physical change. There are some other changes also which are physical, but they are irreversible, like plucking of leaves, tearing of paper, breaking of glass. So these are some of the changes which are physical but irreversible. So changes can be categorized as physical and chemical also. So changes in which no new substances are formed are called physical changes, like breaking of a glass jar, freezing of water, tearing of paper. And now we will study about chemical changes. Last topic but not the least. Yes, those changes in which a new substance is formed which has different chemical properties are called chemical changes. For example, on cooking, the color, hardness and appearance of food changes. So we can consider this cooking of food as a chemical change. Even turning of a raw green mango into a ripe yellow mango is also a type of a chemical change because new substances are formed and the properties, the chemical properties have also changed. So we can consider this as a chemical change, right? So these are some of the chemical changes. So what we can say about chemical changes? Yes, changes in which new substances with different chemical properties are formed are called chemical changes, like cooking of food, growth in plants and animals, burning of substances. They are all chemical changes as entirely new substances are formed. There is one more such example, like burning of a candle wax. Now what happens when we burn candle? Yes, burning of a candle wax releases carbon dioxide plus water vapor. So these are the new substances which are formed by burning of a candle wax. By burning a candle wax. So these new substances are formed, and so we consider burning of a candle wax as a chemical change. Right? So these reactions cannot be reversed. Now let us discuss about the difference between physical change and chemical change. Yes, in physical change, no new substance is formed, and in chemical change, new substance is formed, like we discussed, burning of a candle wax. In physical change, the properties of substance remain the same, but in chemical change, the properties of substance change. In physical change, it is almost or mostly reversible. It can be reversed back. But chemical change is mostly irreversible. So we can say that they are not totally reversible or irreversible, but they are mostly reversible and or irreversible. Right? So this was all about reversible and irreversible, as well as physical and chemical changes. I hope you enjoyed today's session and learned many things about the changes that occur around us. Right? So we will meet in the next session. Till then, keep learning. Bye-bye.